Texans fans, you're watching Texans Today. We have a massive development. According to the Houston Chronicle, DeAndre Hopkins is interested in a potential reunion with the Houston Texans. He was cut by the Arizona Cardinals last week. There's multiple teams interested, and apparently the Texans might be in the mix. We'll get into this more on today's show, but make sure you are subscribed because we are breaking down all news and rumors as it relates to your Houston Texans. Hit that subscribe button below. We're going to have you covered during the rest of the offseason and then during the season as well. So be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. This would be huge. D-Hop coming back to Houston. Brooks Kubena of the Houston Chronicle is saying that D-Hop might be interested in a return. Here is what he said in the Chronicle this morning. Hopkins, who is a three-time All-Pro while playing for the Texans, is interested in rejoining his former team. A person with knowledge of the situation said Hopkins is gauging multiple teams as a free agent, and those include the franchise that once traded him. But he spent 7 seasons with the Texans after they made him their 2013 first-round pick, and he still has family living in Houston. Our guy Roosh Williams, though, had it first. Here is what he said last night. Breaking league sources tell me DeAndre Hopkins is high on the Houston Texans, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, and has legitimate interest in a reunion with the Texans. His family living in Houston is also a serious factor in his consideration. So Roosh had it last night, and then this morning it was the Houston Chronicle, both of those people, Roosh and Brooks Kubena, reporting that DeAndre Hopkins is interested in coming back to the 7-1-3. Do you want D-Hop back in Houston? I'll get into my thoughts here in a second, but first I want to hear from you down in the comments section. Do you want Nuke back in H-Town? Type Y for yes or type in for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when ad break comes, go down, chime in, Y for yes or in for no. I'm all for bringing D-Hop back to Houston, and we'll break down some pros and cons here in a second. But you have an opportunity to make this receiver room even better, add a massive weapon for C.J. Stroud while bringing back one of the best players in franchise history. When you look at the stats here for DeAndre Hopkins, the numbers he put up in Houston, he was arguably the best receiver in the league during those 7 seasons, over 8,600 yards, 110 games played, 632 receptions, 54 touchdowns. He ranks second only behind the GOAT, Andre Johnson, in franchise receiving yards, over 8,600 in D-Hop's career in H-Town. Here is what the Texans wide receiver depth chart looks like right now. So Nico Collins, after the trade of Brandon Cooks to Dallas, Nico is expected to be the number 1 wide receiver. Robert Woods, you brought him in free agency. That was a big addition for this team. He was not himself last season in Tennessee, but he was really good previously in L.A. with the Rams. John Mechie III, the Texans' second-round pick last year, did not play this past season after a cancer diagnosis. He's going to be back and healthy, and I think he's going to have a big impact. So those are your top 3. Then you have Noah Brown, who you signed in free agency from Dallas. He was pretty good in Dallas last year, kind of as the Cedric Wilson replacement. Tank Dell was your third-round pick. A lot of people think he could have a massive rookie season. I am one of those people. And then Xavier Hutchinson was an All-American at Iowa State. Somehow he falls to the 6th round. So your top 6 receivers right now are really good. But the more weapons for C.J. Stroud, the better. That room can still improve. You can never have enough weapons for a rookie quarterback. I want C.J. Stroud to be in the best possible position to succeed. He will be in that position if you bring D-Hop back to Houston. How can you not look at this picture and get chills, man? I mean, come on! Come on! I want to see this happen. C.J. Stroud and D-Hop, that would be huge for the young rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud to have a weapon like DeAndre Hopkins. And is D-Hop as good right now as he was when he was in Houston? No, but he's still really good, and I think he would immediately be the best wide receiver on your team. I mean, Stroud throwing a nuke. I mean, I just have goosebumps thinking about that. Let's make it happen. Nick Caserio, get on the phone, do your thing, get DeAndre Hopkins back to Houston, pair him up with C.J. Stroud. Speaking of C.J. Stroud, you can go get his rookie jersey right now at chatsports.com/Stroud. I think I need a new Texans jersey. My Texans jerseys right now, producer Trace. Would you like to hear them? I have a Andre Johnson one. I have a J.J. Watt one, a Deshaun Watson one. Need to throw that away. And I'm about to have a C.J. Stroud one because I'm going to go to chatsports.com/Stroud. I need a current player's jersey. You can go get your Texans jersey right now, C.J. Stroud jersey, at chatsports.com/Stroud. That link is in the comments section and description of today's video. Also, should probably get D'Amico Ryan's jersey just for the heck of it. chatsports.com/Stroud. Go and pick up your C.J. Stroud jerseys right now. Let's talk about some pros and cons here when you're talking about bringing DeAndre Hopkins back to Houston. I think the big con that people are going to say is it's going to stunt the development of the young wide receivers. Let's say Nico Collins, for example, because right now he's slated to be the number one wide receiver in his third year. It's a big opportunity for him. He's not going to be the number one wide receiver if you bring D-Hop to Houston. This also might limit Tank Dell and Xavier Hutchinson's targets. So that is a clear con, probably the biggest con when you're talking about bringing D-Hop back to Houston. Number two, though, and we're talking about pro, number one pro, is he would be a huge weapon for C.J. Stroud. He would be the top target immediately for Stroud. And again, you can never have enough weapons when you're talking about a rookie quarterback. Second con, he's not going to be cheap. He got cut. Yeah, he's going to have potentially a new contract here. But he is not going to be cheap. Bringing D-Hop to Houston is going to cost a little bit. But a pro is you have the money. You can afford DeAndre Hopkins. You still have an enormous amount of cap space. You have the money to make this work. And then the third and final pro, just the nostalgia of it. I mean, how awesome would it be bringing DeAndre Hopkins back to Houston, one of the best players in franchise history coming home? That would be awesome. What is the biggest pro to bringing D-Hop back to Houston? Let me know down in the comments section. What do you think is the biggest pro when you're talking about bringing D-Hop back? Here are teams that have been linked to DeAndre Hopkins. There's more teams than just this, but let's just start with these five. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the team linked to him the most, which would be insane, pairing him with Patrick Mahomes. The Buffalo Bills very much in the mix. So are the New England Patriots, but I'm in the belief that D-Hop's not going to want to play for Bill O'Brien. So I think we can rule the Patriots out. The Tennessee Titans, they really need receiver help. They might be willing to overpay. But I don't think D-Hop would be super interested in going to Tennessee. And then the Houston Texans, the most recent team linked to DeAndre Hopkins. If Hopkins wants to come back, the Texans should bring him back. That's my take. If a top-tier receiver in the NFL who's also one of the best players in your franchise's history wants to come back, you should absolutely bring DeAndre Hopkins back to Houston. And that report from the Cron said that D-Hop is interested in Houston. It did not necessarily say the Texans are interested in D-Hop. So I'll have to wait and see. Nick Caserio, man, I really think that if D-Hop has any interest in coming back to H-Town, you should get on the phone right now. Make it happen. You can afford him, and it would be a huge weapon for your rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud. And we're hearing a lot about D-Hop to Houston now. We've heard a lot about James Harden to the Rockets. Can you imagine if both Hopkins and Harden come back to the 713 this summer? I mean, the city would be absolutely electric if you brought Harden back to the Rockets and D-Hop back to the Texans. I feel like people might be a little bit more excited about D-Hop back to the Texans. I feel like Harden to the Rockets is a little bit more polarizing. But still, that would be awesome if you brought some H-Town legends back this summer. Who would you rather have back in H-Town? Type Beard for Harden or type D-Hop for DeAndre Hopkins? Down in the comments section, go down, let me know. You can make pretty good arguments for both. I'll say this, the Rockets, much like the Texans, have been so bad the last couple of years. Bringing Harden back probably makes them a fringe playoff team, not to mention they have the number 4 overall pick. You already have a really good receiver room without DeAndre Hopkins. But still, that's a huge weapon, like I said, for CJ Stroud. So let me know. Pick one to come back. Type Beard or type D-Hop. And be sure to subscribe for more free Houston Texans coverage. I can promise you we're going to be all over these DeAndre Hopkins rumors.